Hejsa alle sammen, Damgaard her, og velkommen til en ny slags videoserie her på den her kanal, hvor jeg har valgt en historie, som jeg gerne vil fortælle om, og indtil videre ved jeg ikke, hvad fanden jeg kommer til at kalde den, om den bare kommer til at hedde Historier med Jakob, eller hvad fanden den er. Men ja, uanset hvad, så er det her en ny serie, hvor jeg bare vil sidde ned og så fortælle omkring en historie om noget, jeg har oplevet i mit liv, og ja, det er sådan set det, som den kommer til at handle om, den her video. Og den her video er lidt speciel, fordi jeg skal snakke om en oplevelse, som har fuldstændig forandret mit liv og forandret mig som et menneske. Og den oplevelse, det er Odder Højskole. Som de fleste af jer nok ved, så sidste år, der startede jeg på Odder Højskole, og der var jeg så væk fra YouTube et halvt år, og det var i starten sådan lidt nervepirrende, fordi jeg vidste ikke, hvad det gik ud på, og jeg var lidt bekymret for, at jeg ikke ville lave YouTube imens, men det er faktisk med, at jeg var meget afslappet, og jeg tænkte faktisk ikke så meget omkring YouTube på det tidspunkt. Men ja, jeg besluttede mig for at lave en video, hvor jeg fortæller om min oplevelse på Odder Højskole, siden at det er 1 år siden, at jeg sluttede på højskolen, og ja, det er stadigvæk mærkeligt sådan at tænke over. Og det skal også lige siges, at jeg har tænkt mig at lave den her video på engelsk, fordi jeg ved, at der er mange af mine sådan internationale venner, som jeg mødte på højskolen, som der vil se den her video. Så jeg kommer til at snakke i engelsk, og forhåbentlig så er den stadigvæk god. Så ja, der er ikke så meget at sige. Jeg tænker bare, at jeg skal komme i gang med at fortælle den her historie, og nu skifter jeg over til engelsk. Ja, Odder Højskole. That was a really amazing experience for me. I did not really expect anything during my staying at this school. I knew it was about, first of all, the way that I found out about this school was from my aunt. She told me about this school where I could work with acting and movies, because she knows I want to work as an actor in the future. So she told me about this school. In the beginning, I wasn't really that open for the idea of staying at this school, because at that point I was a little bit not an introvert, but I was not good at talking to other people that I just met or making new friends. Not that I couldn't, but I was at a period in my life where I kind of hold back to show who I was. But that quickly changed when I started at this school, and it all started with some of the first people that I met. And the first person I ever spoke to when it comes to the students, that was a girl from Canada named Samaia, or Sam as we called her. And that was a fun experience, because it was kind of the first time I have spoken to an international person in a while. And I was just walking around the school with my parents and just looking around how everything looked and what you had to do. And then we walked by her, and I think some of her family or friends, where she just asked me who I was, where I'm from, and all those questions you ask a new person. Soon after, my parents, they left the school, and I was all alone. I didn't know anybody else on the school. I was kind of just walking alone at the corridors, and then at some point I walked by some people who were playing some table football, and one of them was a guy named Malthe, and he asked me immediately if I wanted to play with them, and kind of skeptical in the beginning, but I said yes. So yeah, it kind of came as a surprise for me that it was pretty easy to talk to new people. I was just walking by and somebody would say hi to me and talk to me and I will talk to them. So it was pretty easy, surprisingly. That day I also got to meet my roommate that I was staying with, Kasper, and he's a really nice guy. In the beginning we were not talking that much, but after an experience we had together where I had a bad habit with locking the doors into our room, and at one evening, I think it was a Tuesday evening, I think, where I was a little bit tired, and so I went to bed earlier. And at that point I locked the door. And the next morning I woke up and went over for breakfast, and while I was sitting there waiting, somebody came up to me and asked how I didn't wake up at night. And I was just sitting there, what are you talking about? Yeah, somebody was knocking on your door and windows trying to wake you up. At that point I found out that Kasper didn't have his keys to our room, and then he was locked outside of our room the whole night, and I did not hear anything. People were knocking on our doors and windows, and I didn't wake up at all. So he had to sleep on the couches at our corridor. And after that I found him and said sorry to him and everything, and that I will never lock the door again. And after that we kind of just joked about it, and we quickly found out we had a lot of things in common. We kind of liked the same kind of music, and we also saw some movies. We both had what's it called? A topic called film production, and yeah, we quickly got to talking a lot and became really good friends and good roomies. Speaking of topics, there were a lot of things to do on this school. Not only was there a lot of film production and movies, but also acting and a lot of working out at the gym and music and dancing, but also kind of more something with technology. I don't remember what it's called. Something with IT and programming and a lot of things, and design, accessories. There were a lot of topics you could do. The school, it felt like a lot of, you were welcome at this school. There were a lot of things for everybody who wanted to work with movies or dancing or music. No matter what, there was anything for any person on this school. Me personally, I chose a lot with film production and acting because that's what I want to do in my life, work with movies and acting. But there were some times where I also decided to do or pick a topic that I never thought I would, and one of them was what's called meditation. I only think I did it like 3 times. I didn't do a lot with it because there were another topic that I really wanted to do, which was something called in front of the camera. But yeah, there were a lot of topics you could decide to do. Movies, again, music and design, clothing, I get a lot of things. Every morning on the school we had to go something called morning assembly, where we would all meet up and sing some songs, and maybe sometimes some people wanted to say something, mostly teachers, where they wanted to talk about something. Other times there were some other people coming around and talking about something they have been experiencing in their life. But sometimes there were also some students who wanted to do a morning assembly, which I will come back to later. And after every morning assembly, we were all going back to our rooms with our songbooks and just put them back and just talk to people, and then go to our first topic we had to have at the start of the day. And that was kind of like how every day went. Just wake up, get some breakfast, and just relax a little bit before morning assembly. And then we had a lot of things to do during the day, if maybe movies again or music, all that. That was kind of the only thing that we did on that school. What I'm trying to say is that Højskole is not like a normal school. It's just, for me, it was kind of like just a hobby in some sort of way, or maybe something you could do which could help you doing your career in the future. That's what I wanted to use it for in the beginning. I wanted to use it so I could get something for my resume and get to work with movies in the future. But again, I talked with a lot of people. I think I talked with most of the students on the school. I think there were a few people, maybe two, that I absolutely did not talk to for some reason. But yeah, most of the students I talked to, and also the teachers, of course. It was just a place where we all were welcome, and we were all nice to each other, always sitting outside during the beginning of our stay, because that was during the summer, so the weather was extremely nice. So we would just sit outside and relax and enjoy the sun. And yeah, everything was just relaxing and not too much stress. It was just kind of a hobby thing we were doing. And while we were sitting outside, we could be lucky if the headmaster of the school, she lived right next to the school, kind of on the school, but a house right next to the school. And her cat, Vælte, it's a he. There was some confusing on the school if it was a he or she, but Vælte is a he, and he would always come walking around on the school. And when he did, almost everybody, but most of us had to go over and pet him. And yeah, he was a absolutely amazing cat. I'm not that much of a cat person. I don't hate them. I'm more of a dog person. But Vælte, that is the best and most spoiled cat I have ever met in my life. As I was saying before, with that the school didn't feel like a school, but more like a hobby in some sort of way. That's also because of the many parties we had on this school. I actually think that every single weekend we always partied and danced to music and drinking. Not that I was drinking, because I don't drink alcohol, but I did taste quite a few times on the school, and it was the same every single time. Yeah, I don't like alcohol. It tastes awful. No matter what I got, it tasted but yeah, there were a lot of parties on our school, and sometimes some of the corridors we had, there were how many corridors? There were four corridors, where each corridor had to make a party, and then it had to be a topic. And I remember one of the first one was a superhero party. So we had to have costumes on as a superhero or a villain, and it could be an existing superhero or villain, like something from Marvel or DC, but there were a few people who wanted to have their own kind of costume, and I was actually one of them. And that many people on the school know who it is, and my character was a superhero called Happy Man. And I think I have the costume somewhere. Hold on a second. Aha! Here it is. I think that's the cape. So here is the cape. It's not easy to see, but yeah, that was the cape. And then I had a t-shirt where it said, "Say your full name for a compliment." And I tell you, that party, so many people said their full name, and then I had to give them a compliment. And it was extremely funny because I made a lot of people happy, and that was kind of my goal with this superhero. And that's also the reason why I won the prize for the best superhero. Yeah. I wish I could. I don't know where the t-shirt is. I don't think it's. No. It's not here for some reason. I know I have a picture of me with the t-shirt on, and yeah, that's how it looked. And that was just one out of 100 parties we had almost every weekend. There were so many parties, and in the beginning it was tolerating. I am not that big of a person when it comes to parties, but I still enjoy them from time to time, and it was a lot of fun hanging out with a lot of people, and drunk people mostly. But yeah, then I could make sure they didn't do anything awful, and yeah, it was still really fun talking to people, sometimes dancing. Not that I'm good at it, but it was still a lot of fun. That was mostly in the beginning. I could feel that the further we went on our stay and the many parties we had, I could feel that I kind of had the feeling like, yay, more party, yeah. I could feel I felt like that in the end, but yeah, still pretty fun, but maybe turn a little bit down. And of course, after every weekend, a new week started where a lot of new things were beginning, and at some points we had something called Ö or Ö week, where we had to pick one topic where we had to have that during 1 week, and from Monday to Friday, and then on Friday every topic had to show what they have been making the whole week. For example, the first week I had something called outdoor living, and that meant we had to be outside the whole day, and we had to do a lot of things. We had to climb trees and went to the beach and made something kind of like a sauna, but I don't remember what the real name is, but we made that. And then in the middle was, of course, a place where there were some stones, some hot stones where you would pour water on it, and then smoke filling the whole room up. So we had to make that on a beach, and then we would have to sit in there for a bit of time, and then we had to run out to the water and then be there a few seconds and then back in. And then I think we did it like 4 or 5 times, and kind of torture at the end. But it was still fun, and we had to make our own food at the place. So some of us had to go out to a forest which was right next to the beach, and we had to find mushrooms, but sadly we didn't find any mushrooms, but we still got some really, really delicious food. And we also had to build a shelter, but sadly I got sick the last 2 days on the first week, so I didn't make the shelters or sleep in them or anything. So kind of sad, but at least some other people got some happiness with that. At that point, a lot of us were kind of opening more up, and we talked a lot with each other in many groups or just one big group, and it was really, really fun. And at that point, some people even said to me like, "You seem always happy," and to be honest, that really puts a smile on my face. And I heard that a lot at that point, and then at the evening I decided to go to bed, and while I was laying on my bed, really close to fall asleep, I woke up and thought, I should do a morning assembly where I talk about happiness. And that's what I did. So I texted one of the teachers. I don't remember if I did it that night or evening, or if I did it the next morning. I think I did in the morning, where I texted a teacher that I wanted to have a morning assembly, and yeah, I ended up doing a morning assembly where I was standing in front of every single person on the school, the students, and some of the teachers. There were somebody who were a little bit disappointed that I didn't tell them. So, and that was my actor teacher, Morten Lundgaard. And he was kind of disappointed, but I went back another time to the school and did the morning assembly to some of the newer students, and he was there to introduce me and all that. But yeah, back to the morning assembly. I was actually really nervous somehow to stand in front of the whole school and talk about happiness and my life. And again, at that point, I was kind of a shy person and didn't wanted to open up about myself that much. But at that point, I felt really secured around everybody on the school, and I decided, fuck it, I want to talk about my life and happiness and how to be happy. And it was one of the most amazing feelings that I had when I talked about how my life has been and how I try to stay positive during the bad times. And immediately when I was done with my morning assembly, every student and teachers was giving a standing applause to me, and it was a really amazing feeling that I opened up about myself in front of a lot of people that I didn't know that much about, but I started to feel safe around them and trusted them. And yeah, it was just an absolute amazing experience. And I'm still proud of myself that I wanted to talk about in front of many people about how I was feeling, or how I did feel back in the past. And after that, a lot of people came up to me and needed a hug and talk with me, and it was an absolute amazing feeling that I kind of like was a influence for somebody, if you can say that. I know there was some people who even said that they felt a lot better after I've been talking during the morning assembly. And I'm really proud of myself that I did it, because after that I really got to talk with a lot of people and open up about myself, and I became really good friends with almost everybody on the school, as I said in the beginning. And that's one of the reasons why I felt like that this højskole was a amazing experience for me, because I opened up about myself, and I didn't hide that much about myself and my hobbies and what I wanted to do or wanted to say. I feel like I had a voice, and that I could be myself on this school, because it's a place where everybody is welcome. It really changed who I am to this day, and that I I listened a lot to people who wanted to say something. Not that I did that before I did, but here I really opened up to a lot of people and listened to them if they had a good or a bad day. It really changed how I was as a person, which is one of the reasons that I don't really see these people as my friends, or this place as a place where I can meet new friends. This is a place for a family. Most of the people that I've met and spoke to on the school, I see them as my kind of like an extra family that I always can talk to. And even if I had a good or a bad day, Odder Højskole is a absolutely amazing place. It's a place where you can work on yourself and like talk to new people, but also work on something you want to do in your life with your career. The Odder Højskole is really a place for opportunities, a place for hope. I didn't really think I would be anywhere in my life, because before I went to this school, I didn't have a job, and I tried to get a job, but every place I went to, nobody wanted me there, or they didn't need anybody, or I didn't get a response. I didn't get anything, and I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. I knew I wanted to work with movies and acting, but I didn't know how to get a head start, like something to get me started on this career. And that's when I talked to my aunt about this school, and it gave me hope for my future. It gave me hope on becoming an actor in the future, to work with movies, and I still have that hope. I have been, after the school, I've been working with a lot with movies and acting. I made my own short film, which most of you probably have seen, which is I am stuttering right now. I can't speak. I made the short film Shadows of the Mind, which I have been writing on for almost a year or two. I started around the beginning of 2022, I think. No, not 22, 23, at the beginning of that year. And I think I made 3 pages of the script, and then I stopped because I didn't feel I could finish it. I didn't think I would ever be able to come up with a decently enough story to tell in a short film. I didn't think I even could work as an actor or anything in the future. I did not know what I had to do to kind of get into the industry and get to work with movies and acting. But after Højskole, and especially after film production, it inspired me to finish the script, and I got it done around December, which was where the Højskole stay it ended for me. And yeah, Højskole, it helped me with writing the script, but also work on my acting and movies. And after that, I made the short film, and I even made my own short film during the stay on the school, which was Stick to the Plan, which has been it has been my most viewed video on my movie channel. Last time I saw, it was around 58,000 views, which was absolutely crazy. I did not expect it to get that many views. But I've also been working with some other projects. There were some of my family on the school who contacted me and asked if I wanted to be in a short film that they had to make, and I said of course yes. And I also been to a lot of auditions and made some self-tapes and a lot of things. Most of the time I got rejected because they found somebody who kind of fit the role better, but I got some other parts that helped me get more hope for myself. And speaking of, at the end of our stay at this school, that was surprisingly the most difficult time on this school, when we had to say goodbye to each other. In the beginning I thought I can do this without crying. I was wrong. I cried. I cried a lot when I had to say goodbye to most of my new family members. I call them family again. Yeah, that's what I do, because I love everybody on the school. They are my second family in my eyes. So when we had to say goodbye to most of the people on the school, some of us went to Norway after the stay on the school, and so we still got to spend some time with some of the students and teachers while we were on Norway for a ski trip, and that was really fun. It was my first time ever skiing, and I did awful. I think I was the worst person doing this ski trip, but it was fun. I kind of learned how to ski, mostly on the last day. I did get sick for 2 of the days, sadly, but I ended it on a good note. I kind of learned it, and one of my teachers really helped me on the last day, and it was a really fun trip. But before that, we had to say goodbye to the people that didn't went on the ski trip, and that was, yeah, surprisingly really, really difficult, and I could not hold back my tears. I cried buckets. It was absolutely horrible saying goodbye to some of the people, and it was even more difficult during the ski trip when we came back to Denmark. We traveled with a bus, and we had to drive to different places where people would get off, and that would be the end. So we had to say goodbye on the bus, and it was really, really difficult. So somehow I hold back my tears on the bus. But when it was my turn to get off the bus and go home to where I am now, I sat right over here on this chair next to my movie collection, and I was just looking in a book. We got some books where people could write some stuff in it, and like, I'm so happy that I met you, and a lot of other stuff. And I was just sitting and looking through it, and right there I started to cry again. Somehow it felt like we were just home for the weekend, and then the next, on Monday or Sunday, on Sunday we would go back, and then be ready for Monday for the next week, but that was not the case. We were done. I was just sitting here and just realized it there that I was not coming back to the school for a long time, and I were not going to see my second family for a long time. And it was really devastating for me, especially for all the international students that I had said goodbye to. Most of the Danes, I know I will see them again at some point because we live in the same fucking country. But for the international students, it's a little bit more difficult to see them again because no shit, they live in a different country. But some of them have even planned on going on vacation here in Denmark and plan to see some of us again. And I definitely have some plans to travel the world at some time in my life and travel to somewhere some of the students are and meet up with them and spend time with them. I know it will happen someday, but right now I am just gonna have to wait to see all the faces again. There will be a reunion. There were a reunion this year where I got to meet a lot of the students again, which was really amazing, but it was kind of in a bad period again because we lost some family members and there were a lot of things going on in my life. So I was planning on being there the whole weekend, but I only was there for one day, and yeah, that was kind of sad. But I had been on the school a couple of times. Oh man, sorry about that. I've been on the school a couple of times. The first time I went back and made the morning assembly for the newer students, and that was the first time. I think I was, not to brag, but I think I was one of the first people, or one of the first old students from the other semester who went back to the school for the first time. I think I was the first one, but maybe somebody else was there without me knowing, but yeah. Anyway, I've been on the school a couple of times again. The first time me doing the morning assembly, and then 2 weeks later the reunion, and then I also went there for something we had every Wednesday evening, where something called Højskole evening, where a person would be there to show somebody who was not on the school, and yeah, that was really fun. And then I also went there after one of my teachers asked if I wanted to eat dinner there, so that was also really, really fun. So yeah, that is most of my story about Odder Højskole. There were a lot of things that I didn't talk about in this video. We also went on some trips, and there were other smaller things, something with acting, for example, but also something with music. So there's still a lot of smaller stories that I could tell in the future, especially one with one specific person, a specific student who were only there for 1 week because he did some things. And I'm not gonna say who it is, but I'm glad he didn't stay there for the whole Odder Højskole stay. So yeah. Yeah, there are some other things that I didn't talk about, and yeah, maybe I will talk about them in another video. Maybe in English again or in Danish. I'm not too sure, but maybe I will in English, so all of you, my international friends, will understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, we'll see. There is one thing that I wanted to talk about here at the end, and that was me secretly, some people knew that I decided to get some time with a teacher who was teaching in music or in singing. Yeah, I got some solo lessons where I kind of learned to sing, and I'm gonna regret this. Helene, I hope you're happy with what I'm about to do. I want to end this video with me singing Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra on the last evening on the school, while showing some other pictures and videos from my stay on Odder Højskole. Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Just see what things I found, Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Ladies and gentlemen, Julian and Sóldís.
Jakob er ikke.
Det vidste man så godt.
Ja.
Skål! Look at these two idiots. So stupid.
Hold nu kæft deroppe!
Fill my heart with song. Let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. As I said it in the beginning, you all had a positive effect on me doing this, stay on this school, and I am truly grateful to have met each and every one of you. All the things you have taught me, I will take it with me and use it for the rest of my life. To the day that I die, I will never forget Odder Højskole and the friends that I made here. I love you all so much. Woo!